So welcome guys to today's Empowered Call. It is April the 2nd, 2019. I'm Kira Westwick, and today we're going to be talking about the power of having or crafting your own divine mission statement. This is something that has completely impacted my life in the most profound way. I don't know where I would be without this, particularly over, the last 12 months. My life has gone through some pretty dramatic twists and turns, and, I've faced the most challenging times in my life thus far in my almost 37 years. It's my birthday this weekend. Yay, another year older. I truly believe what I've learned in these 12 months is that you never know the curveballs that life is going to throw you. And I don't say that to cause fear or any of those things. It's really a more in a positive light that you want to empower yourself as a woman, always in the best position to handle anything that life brings your way. And, I really believe that no matter what your relationship status is now, and no matter how happy you are and how secure you are and how certain you are in the future, I really believe that every woman needs to empower themselves financially. And more than just in case something bad happens. For me over the past 5 years, stepping from just being a mum role where I had no self-belief, where I was very challenged, in terms of using my voice, and where I was a very shy woman. I wasn't using my gifts, and really stepping into a business and having to step outside my comfort zone. As my net worth has increased, collectively at the same time, because you can't do one without the other, my self-worth has increased dramatically. My belief in myself has increased dramatically. And it's not what money brings to us. It's not the material things that money allows us to have that makes it so important to be financially independent. It's who we become along the way when we create that in our life. It's who we have to step into. Most importantly, it's the value we offer the world, the people that we must serve in order to create that in our life. The emotional revenue of doing that is absolutely incredible. And as I said, it really is, the value and that you offer is how you increase your own self-value. The most incredible gifts of the last 5 years for me have been finding my voice, finding my truth, finding my confidence, and particularly for where I'm at now as an independent mum in my life. If I didn't have those gifts, my life would look very different and very scary. And I wouldn't have the same amount of hope and optimism for my future. And I wouldn't understand that I get to use life. Life is happening for me, and I get to create the destiny in the future that I want, rather than letting life happen to me and feeling like a victim to circumstances. I also have more self-love than I ever have in my life before. I think the more that you give to others, the greater mission and vision you have in the world, the greater impact that you make, the more you really do find yourself and fall in love with yourself. I think just you get to step into your power as a woman, and that really is the greatest gift of all. So I want to take you guys through just a few little notes that I've jotted down on why having a vision is so incredibly important. And then we're going to go through the training together. I'm going to take you through the steps on how to create a divine mission statement or vision for your life that is so powerful that it pulls you into action. I was sharing on training last night that, I've had a couple of weeks this year where I've been a little bit ho-hum and lacking in energy and drive, and perhaps just being a little bit overwhelmed by different fears that we all have. We all have fears. We all have that inner voice. And I was probably embracing them a little bit more than I was utilizing my tools to move through them. And even just like the last few days or the past week, I've been in so much action in my business and so much action towards my vision and service of others and utilizing my gifts. I've been in creation mode for our program and all of these things. And I'm just feeling so so energized and uplifted. And it really is true that if you're tired all the time and lacking in energy, it's because you don't have an exciting, compelling vision for your life. It's not because you've done too much, it's because you've done too little. The busier I am, the more excited I am about life, the more energy I have, the more I get done. The busier I am, the more I get done in my life. Like, how crazy is that, right? Let me know if you can really relate in the comments. So I've got some notes, and I want to give you guys just a tip. I've found this woman, actually someone, a friend of mine sent me the link. And I'm loving her stuff. It is so incredibly powerful. This woman certainly knows her voice. Her name is Eleanor Cardone, and the book that I'm listening to is Build an Empire, How to Have It All. And she really talks about not just finding your power as a woman, but if you are in a relationship and you're building an empire or a future with a significant other, really to embrace your role in that, and how to support one another. So it's really, really powerful stuff. And she really talks about the importance of having vision, and I thought it was perfect for this training to go through some of this. Okay, so your vision or your purpose has to be so big, so wide, and so gravitational that even if you were sick, injured, or seriously questioning your commitment to continue, that it gives you the type of inner strength needed to blow past any doubts, temptations, or distractions. And that is the power. As I said, so many challenges have come up for me, and are continuing to come up, but because I have this divine mission that is so much greater than myself, I'm not getting stuck in the stories. I'm not getting distracted as often as I could. I'm not staying in hopelessness or fear or sadness. I'm excited and compelled to move forward, and I'm looking forward rather than backwards or, staying stagnant in where I am. So when you connect with your purpose, you'll find that it's easier to discipline yourself and do the difficult things, or to make the right choices when kicking back or quitting seems like a better option. We all have shit happen in our life. We all have day-to-day challenges and, meaning like, like tasks that we have to do, like doing the dishes and the washing and all of these things. And it can feel overwhelming. If you guys can stay on mute, that would be incredible. And if you are in the business that I'm in, or a similar model, we have to be self-disciplined. We have to show up for ourselves to create the success that we want. Now, unfortunately, we live in a culture where we are trained to need someone to tell us not only what to do every day, but when we can even pee and when we can eat, right? That starts in like pre-prep. We're getting trained to need someone to tell us what to do with our time. And so that's one of the greatest challenges in a business like this, or running any business, is having the self-discipline. And if you don't have a greater mission or vision bigger than yourself to focus on, you will get caught up doing, the stuff that isn't meaningful. You'll get caught in front of the TV and doing things that, satiate a need now. So you're compromising your future because you're, getting that, the instant gratification of feeling good now. The greater your vision and purpose is, the more likely you'll be disciplined in those moments where you either want to give up, or you can't be bothered, or you're uninspired of what you should actually be doing with your time. It gives you the strength to pull yourself up yet again and put one foot in front of the other. I have had a lot of women, send me beautiful, heartfelt messages around the strength of me being able to show up through so many challenges. And it really is like that purpose and that mission of empowering women and sharing my story, and how can I use it to make a difference in the world? How can I leave a positive impact in the world in my time here? That's what allows me to put one foot in front of the other on those hard days. I can't tell you how much of an impact this makes, but it's up to you to embrace it. It's up to you to put it into action in your business every day, in your life every day. Truly, the weeks where I let it slide, where I don't show up and read it, my mission statement every day, are the weeks where my energy goes down, my inspiration goes down, where I start thinking about the things that, drive me crazy or cause anxiety or make me stress about the future and make me feel uncertain. my energy just shifts to the wrong place, and it impacts everything around me that's important to me. Your purpose is an invisible armor. Battles are inevitable in your life. On a micro scale, there's going to be bad days. You're going to argue with your husband. You're going to have frustration with your kids. You're just going to have all these unimportant things in your face all the time, threatening to steal all of your time and bring your energy down. And then you're always going to have things come up on a macro level that are outside of your control, you know, whether it be recessions or the economy, like things, you know, war even, you know, is a possibility in our lifetime. That's a macro level challenge that can happen in life. Going into the world every day, the one item you must wear is your purpose. It will help you recognize silly distractions, such as having an argument with your husband. So often it's a waste of energy. It's meaningless stuff that doesn't contribute to an incredible future. But we get so fixated and distracted on these things that derail us, and really they destroy our empire. You know, either every choice that you make every single day, where you choose to put your energy, your focus, your time, your commitment, your mindset, your thoughts, what you say, what you eat, how you show up, what you do, every single micro and macro decision that you make is either creating your empire or destroying your empire, your future, whatever word you want to use. I love empire. I think it's very empowering to think of yourself as this queen of your empire. It's one of the statements that my coach gave me as I was moving into the overwhelm and the stories of being an independent mom. He's like, no, you are the queen of your kingdom. Like, you are growing your empire. And I found it so incredibly empowering. So those silly distractions, you know, they really destroy, they take time and energy from the things that are important. And a year from now, you don't even remember what they are. That's how meaningless they are, but we put so much energy into them. It helps you to keep standing when you feel like your world is falling apart. And it will help you avoid falling into those pitfalls. You will see situations for what they are and keep moving forward. So rather than getting fixated on and stuck in these structures and beliefs of how you think things are, it will just become irrelevant. You won't get stuck there. The meaning of life is to find your purpose, your gift in life. That is the meaning of life, is for you to find your purpose and your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away. If you're not experiencing joy and energy and happiness and fulfillment in your life, it's because you're withholding your gifts from the world. You're telling yourself bullshit stories that you don't have any. You're having a self-pity party every day stuck in your head. If you need work on that, then go watch the other 3 trainings that I've done before this one where we talk about that. But when I stepped into my gifts, when I acknowledged what I was good at and I started using those gifts, that is when joy and fulfillment came into my life. So when you show up and give away your gifts, that's when you will feel the purpose of your life flourish. Don't be average. Give yourself a challenge. This is where you will find a fulfilling life. That's what you were born to do. When you're feeling overwhelmed by how long the bigger dreams seem to take to come to fruition. So even in our business, right? Let's just look at that as an example. When we look at the pinnacle scale of promotion that people are heading towards, it feels so overwhelming. It feels like such a huge dream. It feels so long away. And when we only focus on that, it really disempowers us in the now, because we're not getting instant gratification. We feel like it's going to take forever. We don't know if it's going to be worth it. We question our ability because maybe we don't have the skills yet that kind of level requires us to have. And we start questioning, will we ever make it? Will we be able to become that person? So you need to inspire yourself with small wins along the way. And it's important to keep this in mind with your vision. Your vision is flexible and evolving and ever changing. So you want to have that greater vision and purpose, but you want to have those smaller things that you can feel like you're winning along the way as well. Be sure to set these smaller achievable goals while you work towards the greater vision. So make sure you guys are taking notes on these bits and pieces and tips so that when you come to write your vision, you can really hit every area that's important. Envision the kind of vision you would set for yourself and your empire when you're feeling on top of your game. So imagine one of those days where everything goes right, okay? You're nailing life, you're winning at life, you feel like you've ruled the world on that day, you've achieved everything easily, and you have no doubts, okay? you would raise the bar so much higher on your potential if that was the kind of day that you were having. You came into this world magnificent. I think the biggest tragedy would be leaving this world average. And right now, most of us are living average. Okay, I still would say I'm living average. I still get sucked into days where I'm not productive. I'm not my best self. I don't show up as the best mother and the best friend and all of those things, right? I'm still working on, my magnificence. And, you don't want to leave this world average. You're here to make an impact. You're here to serve and get out of your own head and, and be a gift to the world. It may seem ridiculous to dream so big when you have been conditioned to be content with where you are. You have to understand how much conditioning you've had and how that is effing up your life and holding you back, okay? It's not based in truth. It's just conditioning, and you can change those patterns. There are so many well-intentioned good people all around the world who are raised to think small. They've settled so far into average, they have a hard time changing their mindset. Don't let this be you. You're going to be that person that goes, oh, it just sounds too hard, too much energy. I'm just happy with my conditioning. I'm just going to settle with this mindset. I'm not going to bother showing up. I'm not going to bother doing this vision stuff. I can't be bothered spending 5 minutes a day to change my life so I can change other people's lives. If you ask me, that's incredibly selfish. Because there are people here that need your gift, that need your light in the world, and we need to get out of our own way. So let me know in the comments which one you're going to be. This exercise done properly will help you reach your full potential. The small things will no longer bother you. The small shit that happens every single day that threatens to steal our energy and our focus will become irrelevant, and we will be focused on, so much bigger, more quality questions and action and results in our life. And once again, you will either be the person, you'll be probably 10% of people on this call will actually do this, and it will change their life. And then the rest of you won't be bothered for more than a day, or you won't even go back and write this up. Okay, so let me know which one you're going to be. Now, as we move into doing this work now, I forgot to say at the beginning, I'm uploading every recording now onto the YouTube channel, so you guys can watch this back and go through it step by step once that's loaded this afternoon. And I really appreciate that you guys subscribe and share it, because I've already lined up some incredible speakers in the weeks to come, and the more views that it gets, the better coaches and speakers. I mean, these are already top of the game who I have, but the bigger variety, I should say, not better, that I will be able to bring to you guys. And these are people that have impacted my life. So please share, share on Instagram, take screenshots and all of those things, and really share what it means to you and the impact that it's made, because then we will grow this incredible community of women where we can just bring so much more value and grow together. Okay, so if you've been feeling challenged or stuck or stagnated in life, this is going to help you move through that and into your success and your potential. And, as I said, is it that important? Well, is it important that you change? Because for things to change, something has to change. There are so many different people who talk about mission statements, and I've tried to write one many, many times. They've always felt a little bit meaningless, and if something doesn't hit me in my core and my heart, then I'm not really going to embrace it. And I have to say that this particular process, which is from Mitch, MJB Seminars, you can go and follow them on Instagram and Facebook. Highly recommend, the stuff that they do. This has been the most impactful process that I've been through. I'm sure they'd explain it 100 times better than me, but I will do my best to give it, the light that it deserves. I'm going to take you through the steps. We don't have time for you to fill in all the steps on this call, so I'm going to recommend that you write down the steps, take notes, and anything that pops into your mind so that you can trigger that thought when you come back to it. At the end, I'm going to read you my entire mission statement so that you can get a feel and an example. And just pop the YouTube channel there. Thank you so much. so that you can get a real sense of, you know, mine has evolved and really taken time to get where it is, so that you at least have a great example for that. Okay, so the very first thing, and I want you guys to participate in this bit right now. You know, I want you to write, I want you to write 6 or 7 things down that you truly value in life. Like, what are the things that you most value in your life? So, for example, I had love and connection. I value freedom. I value growth. I wrote down certainty, compassion, grace, health. So they're the things that I truly value. Love and connection is obviously family and those kind of things. And then I want you to circle the 3 that you think are most important to you. So I had love and connection, certainty, and growth. I thought those were the most important. Family is love and connection to me. So that was the first thing that Mitch got us to do. And I've always had this perception that I had these values. Love and connection for sure, definitely one of my top values. Growth, absolutely. But I had people tell me, and I had embraced this idea that certainty was a high value of mine. Now, what I realized through this exercise, that it was life circumstances that was bringing this need up in my life. It actually isn't one of my top values. And the next step of this exercise was so profound for me, and I'll explain why once we move through it. But I want you to consider that you have 6 months to live. Okay, imagine you've only got 6 months to live. And I want you to write down, you know, what would you do with that 6 months? How would you spend your time? Feel free to put it in the chat or write it down, up to you. So all you've got is 6 months. What are the first things? What overwhelms your heart that this is what I would spend my time doing? Now, the reason why this was so profound to me is because on an intellectual level, we can think we know what our values are. I thought mine were love and connection, certainty, and growth, right? I'm like, these are the things I do every day. This is where I put my time and energy. This is what consumes my thoughts. These must be my top values. And when I did this exercise, I was just overcome with just this wave of, like, just this aha moment, I guess, this awakening of like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize how important this is to me. So I'll read what I wrote just to help you guys out. Yeah, this definitely makes you cry when you do this properly. When you connect in with this stuff, you will shed some tears. So I would spend as much time, and Adam and I were already going through our separation, but I think because I've spent so much time with him and you know, obviously he still means so much to me, I still just had this overwhelming sense to spend as much time with him and the kids as possible, loving them, giving my belief in them, creating magic moments for them, laughing and playing, being in nature as much as possible, experiencing the world. Take a trip to Europe and Disney with my girls, spend time with my extended family, tell them I love them as much as possible. This is making me teary. Share with my team and the world in any way I can what is truly important in life, and to meditate and be present and at peace. Like, this is what hit me in my heart. And the next step of that is to go through and circle the first 3 things that come up. The first 3 things that came up for me were family and love and connection, obviously. So that was a no-brainer. I knew that was a top priority for me. The next one that shocked me, and not because I wasn't doing it, I just never realized how important it is for me, but the entire paragraph was filled with giving. It was filled with service. I had this overwhelming feeling that I had to leave the people that I loved, the people I connected with, you know, my friends, my family, my team. I had to leave them with something before I left the world that added value to their life, that reminded them of their greatness, of why they were here and how loved they were and how enough they were. Like, that was so overwhelming. And it was just such an awakening. And the second one was connections and all of those things. And, you know, it's funny. everyone always jokes about how I love to shop and all of those things. And yeah, I have great clothes and I love shoes and I love the creativeness of it, to be fair. You know, I'm very artistic and I love fashion in its creativity. But none of those things came to my mind, right? And this is where you really start to realize, and not to say I didn't already know this, but just as an example, sometimes where we're spending our time, energy, and money is not the things that actually fulfill us and bring meaning to our life. And, you know, with my business, when we first came into this business, the first 3 years were filled with absolute momentum. Like, we were running so fast, I could hardly keep up with the momentum. And, you know, to the point where it kind of did take a toll on my health and all of those things, because it was just so challenging to run at that pace. And the last 12 months, through all the challenges that have come into my life, obviously I've become more self-focused in that time. And I really lost my connection with my purpose and who I was here to serve. And it really impacted the momentum of my business. And so this exercise really just helped bring back that awareness of how important service is to me. And how fulfilling it is for me, how it fills my cup. Like, no wonder I felt so empty for 12 months, so uninspired to show up in my business at the level I used to, because I'd lost sight of why I was even doing it. And I think sometimes we create these visions and we hit those goals, right? So, you know, I hit the pinnacle positions and all of those things, and then all of a sudden you're like, what now? Rather than shifting the bar, rather than redefining the vision. And that's where I went wrong. I didn't reinvent, redesign, expand. That's my favorite word. I didn't expand on the vision, and therefore I was left uninspired, and that impacted many areas of my life. So I want you to come back to that. I want you to really spend time in that. And I think that it may shine a light on why you're here and what truly is important to you. And then you can ask yourself, you know, if that's so important to you, life is short. Why are you not already doing those things? You know, I make sure that I spend as much time with family as possible. I make sure that I'm in nature as much as possible. I create space every single day for those things, because what if there's no tomorrow? And, you know, and same with service. I've brought that back at a massive scale into my life. And that's what inspires me to show up with strength in the face of challenges in my life. Okay, so step 2. Think about what you loved to do as a child. What made your heart beat? What made you want to get up in the morning? What did you do every time that you had the opportunity? Now, this is an important step, because as adults, we get stuck in the grind, we get stuck in our responsibilities, and as mothers especially, I think one of the traits we are quick to lose is our playfulness. And our playfulness and our flexibility is, if you ask men, one of the most attractive qualities we have. And I think if we take responsibility for our part in relationship breakdowns, it's often because we lose those qualities that, you know, men fell in love with us in the first place. And you know, and I think it's important that we are aware of what's important to our significant other, that we play our part and our role in making sure that we're meeting their needs. But more importantly, it's enjoyable for us. You know, when I realized how much I'd let go of playfulness in my life when I first became a mother, because I was under the strain of my life's changed so much, and I was really just trying to navigate what it means now to be a mom and all of those challenges, which many of you on here have faced. If we lose, you know, that playfulness, we forget to bring out our inner child every day, to have joy, to laugh. Like, how often are you laughing and smiling? Like, that's what our partners and our children want from us. That's what makes them feel safe and happy. Our emotional state completely impacts theirs. And we have to take responsibility for that. You know, if we want to stay youthful, if we want to have joy in our life every day, we have to create space for the things that bring joy and bring out the inner child. So my list that I loved to do as a child was horse riding, rollerblading, camping, fishing, snorkeling, listening to music, dancing, hanging out with friends, reading, writing, playing sport, jumping on the trampoline, getting out and just roaming the neighborhood. Can't do that so much these days with kids. Sleepovers, and bike riding. Like, I was always doing something active. And, you know, now in life, there's so many of these things I create space for every day. Like I go skateboarding. I take my kids to the roller skating rink so I can go rollerblading. I tell them, I make it exciting for them. Let's go roller skating. Mummy's going to take you. But secretly it's because I want to go. You know, I go horse riding and I do these things. They push me outside my comfort zone. I'm not going to lie. You have more fears about these things as an adult, but this is what keeps us youthful in our mind and in our body and in our spirit. So let me know in the comments if you've had an aha moment. Was there something that you really loved to do as a child that you just let totally slide under some bullshit story that you're an adult now and you shouldn't do that, or you don't have to do that, or you're not supposed to, or you just don't have time, or whatever BS story you've created around that? So let me know in the comments. I'd love to see maybe, you know, what are you committed to bringing back into your life that, you know, is playful. I love jumping on the trampoline with the kids. I love taking the kids to the trampoline park because I want to go jumping on the trampoline, right? You want to be silly and free and flexible. It's so feminine to be in that flow. And that is a very attractive quality in someone. Okay, step 3. This one is so important. Yes, dancing. We do silly dancing all the time at home. We dance in our PJs in the morning, and it sets the emotional state of the house in the morning. So rather than having stressed out, getting ready for school, yelling at the kids, everyone is silly and playful and having fun and their spirits are lifted. It's the best way to start and finish the day. Okay, step 3, recognize what you bring to the table. What are you talented at? What traits and characteristics have you gained from your past experiences? What skills and tools have you picked up along the way? What are your areas of special knowledge, insight, and wisdom? I call this, what are your superpowers? Okay, and we are raised in a culture where we are not allowed to acknowledge ourselves. We're too proud if we do that. If we are, you know, happy about our gifts, if we embrace our gifts, if we share what our gifts are, if we acknowledge ourselves, we've been taught that we can't do that, right? And I think that it's really messed us up. And, you know, actually a lot of the coaching that I had moving through the challenges over the past 12 months is there were people in my life that I was looking, and we all do this, and we all F ourselves up with this. We cause a lot of pain and suffering for ourselves. There were people in my life that I was looking constantly for acknowledgement from, to tell me that I was enough, to tell me that I was doing a good job, all of those things. And they were people who didn't have the capacity to give the acknowledgement, and even if they did, they probably wouldn't because of the space they were in. And this was causing immense suffering for me. And so basically the coaching was around, we need to take ownership of acknowledging ourselves. The more you seek anything in another to change your emotional state or to make you feel enough, you are always going to be in pain by doing that. You know if you're doing a great job. You don't need anyone to tell you. You don't need your husband to constantly acknowledge you. You don't need your peers to constantly acknowledge you. You don't need your upline to constantly acknowledge you. You don't need the acknowledgement. You need to give it to yourself. You need to fill your own cup every single day by telling yourself how worthy you are. And this is how you will ease a lot of pain and suffering in your life. That is for sure. The other thing that I want to bring your awareness to is that you are not meant to be good at everything. So sorry to break it to you, but you need to stop the bullshit of comparing yourself to others. You're not supposed to look the same, be the same, sound the same, be good at the same things, show up on Instagram the same. Like, we're all unique for a reason. We're not supposed to be the same. We're supposed to complement each other. How boring the world would be if we were all good at the same things, right? And that's the beauty of, if you're in a business structure like we're in, is that you're not meant to be good at it all. You're meant to bring your gifts to the table, and there's complementing gifts from other people in your team, and you work together collaboratively, and that's how you build an empire, right? You don't build an empire by being good at everything yourself. So you got to leave some room for others to be amazing, right? Stop being so selfish. So you need to get over the comparison thing, okay? You need to embrace what you are good at, what your gifts are, and stop wishing it to be different or to be someone else, because by wishing you were someone else, you are wasting the incredible person that you were put here to be. You are already magnificent as you are and perfect in your imperfection, and this is who you were supposed to be on this planet. The other thing I want to say is when we move through this exercise, stop having a bloody pity party, okay? And I've coached women around this who can only think of 2 things that they're good at. That's bullshit. And I'm going to call you on it. Like, that's absolute effing bullshit. You know, you have a gazillion things that you're good at, whether they're big or small, and it's time that you go to town loving yourself. So you want a big freaking list. And when I read my mission statement, you guys will probably start with the BS in your head of like, oh my God, Kira loves herself, right? Because I've got a massive list of all the stuff that I'm good at. But I'm going to acknowledge myself for that, because that is how I show up best in my business, by knowing what I'm good at. So I'll give you an example of my superpowers, kindness and compassion. It's what I lead my life with. And that's through past experience. I learned the hard way in primary school, a lesson around kindness, and it has stuck it's left a mark on my soul forevermore. And I pass this value down to my children for that reason. Connecting with people on a one-to-one. So, you know, my role in my business requires me to step on stage a lot in front of a lot of people, and so many leaders embrace that. And if that's one of the reasons why you're sabotaging your success because you're an introvert like I am, I just want to let you know that you don't have to become that. That doesn't have to be your future. Yes, I embrace it because I'm all about embracing things that are outside my comfort zone. But I don't necessarily envision my future talking to tens of thousands of people on stage. I believe that making a one-to-one impact and changing one person's life impacts the entire world. So whether you're someone who your gift is sharing to a large audience or connecting one-to-one, they're both equally as powerful. One of the things that I used to identify as a perfectionist, which caused a lot of pain and suffering in my life, because nothing is ever perfect, so you will never be happy if you identify as a perfectionist. One of my beautiful mentors, who's also one of my best friends, he said to me, you need to replace that word with excellence, that you strive for excellence. And I would say that is one of my gifts. No matter what I do, I always strive for excellence. I don't feel satisfied unless I've done it to the best of my ability. Now, that is such a more empowering way to frame it, and therefore I'm not in suffering all the time because things are never perfect. I'm great at writing. I'm good at energetically understanding situations, and I have good intuition. And I've always been very independent. I'm obviously a great cook. I'm just going to acknowledge myself for that, right? What else? I have very good common sense, which has served me really well in everything I've done in life. I'm good at following directions. I'm good at, I believe my divine gift in life is to teach. I right from an early, like in my 20s, I did teaching at university. Then I went on to teach about health and Pilates. And I do feel that I flourish the most when I'm in an education role. And I believe that's my divine gift in life. And I've been lucky to be able to identify that. I'm very generous. I'm very creative, and I have attention to detail. So, you know, you want to go to town. Go to town on loving yourself, okay? And don't stop until you just feel so satiated and in love with yourself, with how amazing you are as a human being. Step 4, you are always on track with your mission. Perhaps in some cases, your perceptions tell you otherwise. In answering the following questions, consider the different segments of your life as below. What are you doing now? What activities that you participate in now do you consider your mission? What things are you most passionate about now in life? So this step is really just bringing your awareness to, you know, where are you already putting your time? What are you passionate about? But it also gives you different segments to focus on. And when I read my mission statement, you'll understand the different segments that I go through, because if you don't bring awareness to every area of your life, then you won't be able to manifest in all of those areas, and you're letting life kind of just float you along rather than you being the creator of your destiny. So the areas that you really want to consider are your family relationships. And by the way, first of all, I want you to write these 3 words down: mental, spiritual, physical. So when it comes to family relationships, there's a mental component, there's a spiritual component, there's a physical component. Same with everything else that I'm going to share. So you really want to embrace kind of all of those aspects when you think about how you want to show up and the future that you want to create. So you've got family relationships, vocational relationships, career relationships, and these are kind of the people and areas that show up in your life. Financial relationships, and this is with yourself and with others, by the way. global social relationships, personal social relationships. Remember, you can watch this recording back, and sexual relationships. Now, who doesn't want an epic sex life, right? You got to put that stuff in your mission statement as well, right? You really got to embrace all areas of your life. So remember, what you focus on is what you're going to manifest in your life, whether you believe in manifestation through energetically thinking about something or whether you believe that you just get shit done. It's what you focus on is what is going to come to fruition. And that is the power of this mission statement. Every morning when you read it, it reminds you where you need to focus. And if you watched actually my other training last week and the week before, and I talk about the importance of having a vision for your inner state every day, so that you're in a state of one consciousness and connection rather than in a state of suffering, anxiety, depression, stress, all of those things. When I read my mission statement, you will see, you'll be able to pinpoint the vision that I've crafted for my inner state every day. And so the first thing that I do is I read this mission statement, and it reminds me to cultivate an inner state of a beautiful, peaceful, connected state. Okay. But if you don't bring awareness every day to these things, as I said at the beginning, you'll get caught up in the meaningless shit that's derailing our life, like the argument you had with hubby, which actually is not as important as your connection with your husband so that you can create an empire, right? It's meaningless on the scale of things. Step 5, if you had no financial restrictions or other commitments and were free to do whatever you wanted, what would you love to do? So if you had no financial restrictions, what would you do with your time every day? And then step 6, this is one of perhaps the most challenging steps for people to write out because of their limiting conditioning, that they should just be happy with what they have. Now, I want to break the news to you that the core of being a human being and that your soul to really experience its true potential and joy and fulfillment in life, you must always be growing. If you're not growing, you're dying. Okay, that the human spirit is to grow. So you need to stop being happy with where you're at. It's not only a disservice to you, it's a disservice to humanity. For you to give more, you need to have more. So stop being so selfish and staying where you are because you don't have more to give. And not just financially. When you're financially free, you have the time, the headspace, the financial resources, the time resources, the emotional resources to show up for others. Whether that's in orphanages or for the next door neighbor that's having a tough time, whether it's small scale, large scale, it all impacts the world. For you, for you to give more, you need to have more. It's your responsibility to become more of who you are and expand your greatness every single day, because that is how you impact the world. So step 6 is, what would you love to receive for fulfilling your mission? Consider how your relationships would look, how your financial situation would look, how your social interactions and physical well-being would look. See how we're looking at all aspects of our life. Be detailed in expressing how you would like to be rewarded for fulfilling your mission. Now, you need to let go of your bullshit money stories here, okay? Life is just an exchange of energy. Money is just an exchange of energy. The more if you've got stories about how rich people rip people off or they're not good or whatever, here's a reality check. Rich people add way more value than you to the world, okay? People get rich as an exchange of energy. They're putting way more energy. They're serving way more people than you are. That's why they have more money than you, right? That's a reality check. So if you want to grow your worth, your self-worth and your financial worth, you need to add more value to the world. And you will receive from doing that, and you have to be okay with receiving. Okay? And not just for you, for your family, okay? And the impact it's going to make on them. Like for me, I want to show my girls what they're worthy of, what they're capable of. I want them to have a great life. I want them to be able to say yes to every opportunity. I want them to live in abundance. They can't do that unless I show them that it's possible. So it's not just about me, okay? It's not about what I want. It's about what am I creating, for what legacy am I leaving? Not just for my girls, but for their children and the children to come. It's so much greater than yourself. So I want to give you a few tips, and then I'm going to read my statement just to help you guys with an example of how all of this comes together. Once you've moved through all of those steps and you've jotted down lots of ideas, that's when I recommend you do it on a computer, because you can keep shifting things around and changing it. It's something that needs to evolve. So if you've ticked something off, you need to keep expanding it. You need to change it. You know, if you're having a particular issue with your husband and it keeps coming up, then put it down as resolved in your mission statement. And, you know, you'll see examples of this when I read mine. But when things pop up, you keep adding on to it and taking out. Some very important key points. You must get these points right, because you're manifesting your destiny here. Always write in the present tense. I am, I have, I do, I give, I love, I feel, I receive. Must be in the present tense as if it's already done, and you must feel the gratitude as if it is already done. Do not use any words like should, ought, want, would, could, might. Okay, it has to be absolute, no doubt. It's done, it's here, it's happening, it's in the present moment. And just remember to be as clear and detailed as humanly possible. Now, and just on a side note, to add to what I was saying about receiving and being open to receiving, finances and wealth and all of that into your life, is there is enough to go around for everyone. So you don't have to feel that someone else is missing out and make yourself a martyr or give yourself guilt that, but what about everyone else? Everyone has the same opportunity. Okay. And, like if, in our country, at least, right? If you're in the Western culture, everyone has the same opportunity to have greatness and to have it all. So you having it all actually helps more people. It doesn't bring other people down. Okay. And by the way, so next week we have Dr. Nima coming on, who coached me through, as I said, the most challenging thing that's ever happened to me. He's going to come on and share some incredible wisdom. He's changed my life. I would still be crying in a heap without him. And then the following week, I'm going to do money stories. So we're going to come back and work on this stuff. If you're feeling triggered by some things that I'm saying, then definitely come and jump on that. Okay, so my divine mission statement. Now, actually, a couple of things you want to, so the mission statement is broken up into 4 sections, okay? The first one is I, and you state your name, okay? I, Kira Westwick, state that my primary purpose is. That is the first segment. The second segment is I love to spend my time. When we wrote down, what did you love to do as a child? Just to remind yourself every day what you want to spend your time doing. Okay, someone keeps bringing themselves off mute, maybe by accident, if you guys can just take care with that. The third section is in order to fulfill my mission, I have to offer. I've written that differently for mine. I think I've put my superpowers are. So whatever connects with you. So I have to offer, or my superpowers are. And the fourth section is by this process I receive. Now I've added a fifth section at the end, which I'm going to read you part of, but some of it is quite personal. But in terms of the vision that I'm casting for my future relationship, I've added a section for that. So if you are in that same position, or you're wanting to cultivate a certain connection between you and your significant other, then you may want to add that in somewhere as well. All right, so I'm going to read my statement now. You guys can watch this back, okay? Okay, so I, Kira Westwick, state that this is very vulnerable, by the way, so it's a big deal for me to share with you guys, but I know that in order for us all to grow, then I just have to be vulnerable and real with you guys. But I, Kira Westwick, state that my primary purpose is to parent presently each day, and I'm dedicated to the spiritual vision, growth, and well-being of my children. I'm a loving and devoted partner and lover who feels free and open to express myself. This freedom allows my partner to step into their greatness too. I love and give to myself first, which allows me to love others even more deeply. I surrender, and I am a feminine, empowered goddess. I am the flower. That was a bit of a I am statement that Nima gave me. He's like, you're the flower. Let the bees come to you, right? So it is my responsibility to break the lineage of poverty in my family as a single mum. I follow the wealth principles, create wealth, and I'm financially intelligent and free. I feel and grow rich. Now that particular line is so significant to me because I want that no matter what happens to my girls in the future, I want them to be financially free and independent. And so I feel I have to break that cycle for them. Okay. And I could go into self-suffering and scared fear mode, or I could step into my power and create an incredible future. Even though I've not done it before or been taught by people going before me, I have to carve the path. And reading that every morning reminds me of the significance of what I do and why I'm doing it. My purpose is to be a light for others, leading the way with grace and humility, showing love without expectation, and I gratefully accept and sow blessings into others. I expand my vision of possibility daily, which in turn inspires those around me to do so. I empower women around the world to find their voice, worth, and financial independence. I lead teams of people with calm courage, and I serve at the highest level. I serve my family and the community with health education and help families build healthy food cultures within their homes, impacting a generation to come back to the wisdom of whole food. I feel flexible. This is my inner vision that I have for myself, my state every day. I feel flexible, balanced, and in alignment, and I ground and nourish my soul with spiritual, emotional, and personal growth, which allows me to show up in my potential. I let go and trust the universe has my back. As women, we want to hold on so tight rather than letting go and trusting. I'm filled with self-love and therefore make good choices. I know the truth of who I am. Now this, I forgot to say, is one of the most important steps of your entire mission statement. If you don't link back your purpose to your business, then the universe will take the business out of the way and it will be replaced with something else. You must bring focus back to it. My Juice Plus business serves all avenues of my purpose, which it does. Okay. It allows me to show up as a present parent because I own my time now. It allows me to empower women around the world to find their voice and step into financial independence because it's a tool for me to help women do that. It allows me to focus on my growth because as my business grows, I have to grow, and I also have the financial capacity to invest in self-development. So everything I just read comes back to my Juice Plus business. Okay. My Juice Plus business serves all avenues of my purpose. I'm continually inspired to make a difference. I step into my magnificence, allowing others to do so. I'm a powerful queen who serves and protects her kingdom. I love to spend my time connecting and being supported in nature. I love to ride horses, dance freely, connect with friends and family, cook, create, where am I at? Read, write, laugh, stretch, move freely, and travel the world to breathtaking places. I make magic moments a reality with my family. I enjoy nice things, concerts, parties, walking on the beach, breathing, creating wealth, and investing. I have fun. In order to fulfill my mission, I bring many gifts. My superpowers are love, kindness, and compassion for myself and others. I am a humble, grateful, and inspired, influential leader. I have the ability to connect deeply and listen with understanding. I feel the energy of others and help people feel seen and heard. I love to serve and give generously to myself and others. I am creative, show attention to detail, and I complete tasks with excellence, not perfection. I am a critical thinker and use common sense wisely, which allows me to absorb information and understand knowledge in situations with ease, and I follow directions well. I work smart. I am an excellent writer, creator, and cook. My divine gift in life is I am a teacher, and I'm called upon to teach the lessons I personally learned, passing on the wisdom I acquire on my own journey. I don't conform. This is my favorite thing about myself. I don't conform to conventional thinking. I am a free thinker with an awake and open mind, and I know the truth of who I am. I have the gift of unlimited potential. I'm intuitive, and this helps me feel safe and grounded. My vulnerability is my greatest strength. I'm an open, generous, and gifted lover. I emanate and shine and help others to do the same. I'm an empowered, high-value woman, strong yet graceful, standing in my greatness, yet humble, connected, and kind. I have respectful boundaries and I communicate like a high-value woman. By this process, I receive a deep, conscious, and meaningful relationship with my partner and my children. Money comes to me in both predictable and unpredictable ways. I always have over and above what I expect. I focus on serving and the commission flows. I have wealth and financial freedom and literacy. My money works for me. I own my time and spend it doing the things I love. I've paid off my own beautiful dream-ish home, right? Because you don't want to acquire your dream. It's always expanding, right? And I have 10 investment properties. I personally make X amount of money per month. I've written in what it is. I've paid off my mum's home and continue to contribute to her financially because I love to. I have vibrant health and everyday greater wisdom, grace, and spiritual alignment. I nourish my body and my family with beautiful organic produce. My body is strong, fit, and healthy, and my mind is flexible, wise, and intelligent. My children are conscious, connected, confident, and kind, and they possess emotional and financial intelligence. My primary relationship has understanding, balance, and respectful communication skills and is filled with love and gratitude. My connection with my mum and sisters is one of openness, love, and understanding. I take an amazing family trip each year. We love our horse and we are safe and well. You want to make sure you write in everything that you love that you already have as well. I have inner peace and I live in a beautiful state. I have meaningful relationships with my friends and family. I have a network of friends who dream big, make a difference, and make life happen for them. They continually inspire me and I in turn inspire them. My relationship with Adam is one of respectful communication and co-parenting. We have love and trust in one another and uphold each other with integrity to our children and the world. You know, as separated parents, it is our responsibility to forge a relationship that is conducive of our children feeling calm and balanced and loved and connected and not torn apart because we're not together. As a parent, it is your responsibility to co-parent that way. And I'm not going to say that it's been easy and that we're not facing our own challenges and frustrations. But when I read this every day, I remember that it's not about me and how I feel. It's about how I show up and how that impacts my kids. So I must remind myself of that every single day because some things are better off letting go for my children to flourish. Okay. I have a huge community of empowered women around me and my Juice Plus business is thriving. I impact women around the world, helping them step into their greatness. My social media following is thriving and I travel the world business class and have team all over the world. I'm grateful for the mentors in my life who guide me in my growth. I'm grateful for Gina and Claudine, that's my housekeeper and our incredible admin, who help me run my home and business. I have help for tasks I do not wish to do myself. My staff are trustworthy and their lives are impacted positively by working with me. I love me, I shine and glow, and I'm grounded in who I am. I'm patient, flexible, fun, and free to be me. And then I have some stuff around what's coming up for me in my business. I might skip over that part because it's sensitive to me at the moment where I'm at in my transition. And then I have the next section and it kind of ends with that. But then I've got this next section with the partner that I am manifesting and reminding myself of, you know, who I want to be for that person, most importantly, right? Because so often we have a long list of what we want, but we forget about who we need to be to attract someone of the quality that we're looking for. So I'm not going to read all of it. Some of it is very sensitive, but I will skip over those bits. So my man, so in this relationship, I feel so safe, cherished, uplifted, at ease. We have a powerful attraction. We are respected, loved, supported, compassion and empathy, ease in communication, fun, flexible and free, lots of laughter, intimacy and trust. I like that I can be open in myself. I feel accountable to be my best. Like we are growing together in sync and working towards common goals. I feel loyalty and that a space is held for my emotions to run through me when I don't understand them myself. I know my intellect and intuition is valued and trusted. I feel a strong but centered and mature masculine presence. I feel seen and heard, and our feelings are considered and validated mutually. He challenges me, calls me on my shit, sees my gifts, and reflects them back to me. He holds me accountable. He's understanding, but pulls me into line where needed. I need pulling into line sometimes. Okay, then there's a bit that is kind of about our intimacy. So I'm going to skip over that because it will tell you a lot about me. He allows me to love him. He believes he deserves to be honored, respected, and loved deeply. He knows his worth and is accepted all that he is and all that he will be. He is playful, laughs often, and isn't afraid to cry. He's driven, has a vast vision for the future and for our partnership, and takes action on his word. He's dedicated to wealth creation, service, and growth. He's kind and thoughtful and intelligent. He is tall and fit and strong and masculine. He makes me feel so safe and sure of him and our future. I feel committed to and like the only girl in the world he has eyes for. I feel like a feminine goddess in his presence, and he knows and honors my worth and values me. And in return, he is my king who I serve with joy and love, and I honor him and all of his needs every day. I am his queen. I uplift him. We build our empire together, impacting thousands of people around the world. We know our roles in supporting one another. Most importantly, he makes me feel like I want to be the woman who deserves him, a woman who never stops growing, learning, loving, forgiving, falling, but always picking herself up. A woman who loves herself first and is the most magnificent version of who she was created to be. A woman who knows her worth and what she deserves. A woman who won't settle or be settled for in life and love. We bring out the best in each other. So that is my mission statement. And, you know, there are days where I don't read it, and I promise you those are the days that don't end quite as well. But the days that I get up and I make my coffee and I come into my office and I steal a quiet moment and I read that to myself, yeah, it is magical. Louise says it's magical. It brings out the magic. It lights my heart and my soul up. It reminds me of my potential. It reminds me of who I want to be every day. It reminds me how I want to show up as a parent. It reminds me what's important in life, to focus on the things that matter and to let the silly, like as I said at the beginning, the insignificant things fade away when you have something so powerful in front of you with your vision. And on the days where I don't feel like taking action, I read that and it pulls me into action. It's not about me. It's so much bigger than me. Like, there's so many people to impact. Most importantly, my children. You know, I can't sit on my hands and let life happen to me. I have to create a future for us. And this gives me the confidence and just the strength and that vision, I guess. It gives me that inspiration every day to get up when I don't feel like getting up and to put one more foot in front of the other. You know, every journey is just one step after another. And you can feel overwhelmed looking at the long haul and how far you've got to go. Or you could just look at that next step in front of you, be inspired by that greater vision, but celebrate your wins along the way and focus on, you know, who you can be each day and what you can do and what you do bring to the table. And then the rest of the noise will fade away and you will feel so much more empowered around your business, around your relationships. You know, so often with our relationships, the only thing we can control is ourselves. We can't control how our partner shows up. We can't control how people react and respond to us. But we're in control of how we feel about certain situations. We're in control of how we react to how people react to us. You know, no one can make you feel or do anything. And the easiest way to create change, or the only way to create change in your life, is for you to be the change. So if you're wanting to see something different in your relationship, you have to go first and stop pointing the finger and waiting for the other. If you want to see things change in your business, you have to lead the way. You have to go first. And same with your children. You know, what do you maybe need to apologize for? You know, have you been going wrong? Where do you need to change in order for your relationship to change with your kids, for their relationship with themselves to change? You know, we're responsible for so much of the legacy of how they're showing up in the world and how they believe in themselves. And we need to work on our own shit for them, because, you know, my girls are learning from me their self-worth, you know, what they're like, the worth that the world puts on them. They're learning what they're capable of by watching me. And that has been the biggest driver for me to work on my shit, to, you know, invest in coaching and to do personal development, because I don't want them to suffer with the challenges that I suffered with self-confidence and belief and using my voice and caring too much what the world thought of me, that I dulled down all of the gifts that I brought to the world. So this statement every day, it means so much to me. It helps me to move forward in my life every single day. And as I said, some of you will do it and some won't. For things to change, you have to change, and you just need to have the courage to create the space in your life to make this magic happen. And I hope that you will come back to me with, you know, as things manifest and, you know, come up in your life because you've brought attention and focus to it. I hope that you will let me know and, you know, reach out. And it definitely means a lot to me. And that's another thing, you know, through all these challenges, you guys just seem to know the right time to message me something beautiful, and it just means so much to me. So I want to thank every single one of you who are a part of my journey. I'm going to upload this to YouTube once it's loaded, and you guys can go back and pause it and step by step as you create your own statement. And once again, just thank you so much for joining me. Next week is going to be amazing. Nima has saved my life. So he's going to come on and share some of his wisdom with you guys. So remember to share. You can invite people from outside the business onto this call as well. Thank you so much, everyone. Have the best